Easy on 'em.
And welcome back.
To Talk Dirty to Me, Hair Edition.
I think we just need to say that quite a lot often. Like,
I mean, it sounds a little bit spicy, and it
listen,
is, but
I keep on, if we say it, I keep on thinking of that song, Talk Dirty to Me. Do, 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 do.
exactly. Okay, so this is episode 2, and this is actually the episode that I've really, really been looking forward to doing. Like, people love the goss. We're hairdressers. We absolutely love the gossip in the salon. Like, I live for it, if I'm being honest.
I think always it's such a fun way of like starting conversation as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I've got my seminars and I always go, tell me a story, you know, of what's relevant or what happened in the salon.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked what some hairdressers tell you.
Oh, the hairdressing is such a fun place to be. Did I say the hairdressing?
I don't know.
The hairdressing industry is such a fun place to
the
be.
Hairdressing. This
I wasn't concentrating.
The podcast, and this is the Corleone Tash.
Honestly, sometimes you just go into like autopilot mode, especially when talking to clients as well. I'm like, what did I just say?
Julia, do you know how many times, and you can ask anybody that's ever worked with me, I'm sure I've done it to you as well. I always go, you know, because I'm an Afrikaans speaking girl actually.
Yes.
And sometimes like I always say to them, like guys, my mobile data is done for the day because I'm just
finished.
stumbling over, you see, over all my words. And like I can't pronounce things. And, you know, I always laugh because as an Afrikaans person, we always say things differently, you know. Then the English people go, you said it wrong. And I'm like, I don't care how I said it. You speak fluently Afrikaans for an hour and we'll talk again.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, do you know how much bandwidth it takes for me to actually be speaking in English? And in my mind,
You're thinking
I'm like,
Afrikaans.
Thinking Afrikaans,
Right?
yeah. My fiance asks me this all the time. He's like, do you think in Afrikaans or do you think in English? And I'm like, I guess it depends when I'm talking.
Yeah.
Like I try and switch over, but sometimes that switch doesn't happen properly.
Right?
And you're like,
but it's weird for me. Like initially, I mean, I've always been quite bilingual, but initially, like if I think about my new career, in the beginning, it was always like thinking Afrikaans and then trying to put it in English, where I must tell you that I have actually picked up that sometimes I do actually think English.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
I think it depends on, like you say, who you're having a conversation with.
No, 100%. And I mean, I think since being in the hairdressing industry, most of my clients are English, especially in Joburg. In Cape Town, I had a lot of Afrikaans clients, which was weird. And all of the stylists I work with in Cape Town were actually Afrikaans, which was also strange. But now when I speak to my mom, sometimes I switch over to English because I'm like, it's going to be easier to explain this thing in English.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember being in Cape Town once and this guy was like, where are you from? I was like, no, I'm from Joburg. He was like, oh yeah, you sound like a Pretoria girl. I've never in my life been more offended. I was like, you can hear that I'm Afrikaans? How dare you?
Right?
Like, the audacity.
But can I tell you something? Because I'm also a Pretoria girl, right? I didn't know there's this big thing about Joburg South and Joburg North. And
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yes.
So they'll go, yeah, I'm dating a boykie that's from the South. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't know what you mean.
I'm not sure, and no offense to anyone from the South. I'm actually from the South, so I'm allowed to say this. Doesn't mean a good thing.
But as I said, I thought, but also, and in the same breath, they're very proud of that. Like, I'm from the South, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would say, I have got no point in this saying that it's a good or bad thing because I don't know. I was just weird. It was like I was conflicted because we don't go, no, I'm from Pretoria East or South.
Yeah,
or
like that's the
West.
thing.
Like,
So I was
what?
born in Pretoria. I was never like raised there. So I don't know like Pretoria East, Pretoria West. I have no clue.
Right?
No, you could refer that to me and I'd be like,
I know
oh,
they
cool.
call the Centurions Churras. I don't know if you've ever-
Churras.
Yeah. So, you know what? Whatever. I think let's get back to what we're supposed to be doing, yeah?
Okay. So the first question I've got written down here. Tash, tell me, what is the best part of being in the hair industry for you?
Meaning what I can learn or just as a general thing?
Yeah, just like how you experience the hairdressing industry.
I
What's
think-
the best part?
You know what? I think at the end of the day, hairdressing is always a humbling experience, if I can say that. Whether it is that I'm sitting and I'm teaching a class or doing a seminar, or whether it is that I go into the salon, you know, there's for me, it's like such a 360 aspect. When I stand on stage and I'm doing a big event, it's like you almost climb into this alter ego of yourself.
Yes.
Like, is everybody having
And
a
I
good
love
time?
seeing that.
You
She's
know?
like a rock star on the stage.
But
I swear.
shit you not, I also make mistakes, you know? Like, I always say, I get on that stage, like the first one, I'm like, you know, then
Yeah.
I'm the only one that can hear the quiver in my voice, but I'm
Yeah,
convinced every single person,
They saw.
they
knew-
saw
they know.
that I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
I can't hold something because then my hand goes like this, you know? But like 1 or 2 slides in, or maybe like speaking for 50 minutes, I'm good. So I must tell you, on that aspect, I thrive.
Yes.
Just to get, but you have to have the right crowd as well. You know, when you've got people and you're like, so guys, let's do this, and they all
And
go,
like,
it's
that
very
happens so
difficult,
much.
right?
Yes.
And like your heart, then almost you get nervous from start go again, because you're like almost
100%.
you're trying to drag it out of somebody, and
Yes.
if they don't have that energy, it's very difficult to try and manage an entire room's energy.
Yeah.
But the other part of it, when you've got that energy and when you've got
Yes.
those people relating and like people getting
Yes.
excited and going, I want to tell you this, that I love
Yeah.
from that side of
Yes.
my job.
Like
if I
that
can
gives
say
you
that,
life.
right?
Yes.
And then also in the company where I am, we do a lot of uplifting. So there's a lot of brand new stylist, or, you know, some people that hasn't even held a hair dryer, or
Yes.
and can I tell you, they are probably the ones that's the keenest to learn. They're always like,
Yes.
tell me more, and how do
And
I
they
do
have
this?
that little sparkle in their eye.
Right?
And
Do you know
they're
how
like, "Oh, teach
privileged
me
I
about
am to
this."
see
Yes.
that? Like when I always say, there's nothing nicer about my job when the penny drops. You know, when you
And then when they finally get it.
Yes, when you train
Yes.
somebody and you can see the lights just went on there, you know,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden they start bubbling, like, and
Yeah.
this and this and this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that part of my job I absolutely love. But here in general, I love the fact that we have got this thing that we can make other people feel good about themselves. The feeling, and it's a feeling, it's not actually a service, although it is a service. Obviously, that's how we get our
Yeah.
client base. is
It's
the
an
type of
energy exchange.
right? It's
Yes.
that, like, I always say, you know, I've got a little daughter, and I always say to her, you do not hang out with people who doesn't fill your cup. Like, if they're not filling your cup, you need to remove yourself out of that situation. And I don't think I ever had that for a very long time, because for me it was like almost fake it till you make it, if I can say that. And I must say, in the last couple of years, I've come to the realization, but it shouldn't be like that. Why should I put this front on? Why should I, you know? People that know me will always say, well, Tash, if you're not saying it, your face will be showing it.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
100%.
That's
Like, the face
exactly
does
who
not
I
lie.
can't. Like,
Yes.
you know, when
Yeah,
somebody says
yeah.
that, I'll go, I don't know. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, for me, whether it is that I'm sitting with stylists, whether I'm doing a seminar, whether I'm having a conversation with a hairstylist friend, whether it's the brand new dry bars that's just started the career, whether it's a
Yes.
brand new, when I do academy training, you know, for colleges,
Yeah.
like just how hungry, and they're like, hang on each word you say. To me,
Yes.
it's so humbling that I could not just introduce the hairstyling industry for you, or the hairdressing industry for you, but that I can actually, I'm giving you a feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually
100%.
giving you a feeling. I'm
Yes,
actually
yes.
filling your cup.
100%.
That is empowering.
And
for
in
me.
turn, that fills your cup
100%.
as well.
There's nothing
Yeah.
nicer walking away and go, shit, yes.
Yeah.
You know, like a tap on your shoulder. Like,
100%. I
that
think
one-on-one.
that's probably how you and I connected as well, because I mean, I was still an apprentice when you came to Torenzo, and I remember the first class you did, it was a class on basic color theory, and I was like, oh my word, you melanin, few melanin, I get it. And like I could
the
see, like,
thing.
you and I made eye
it's like this,
contact,
the
and it
penny
was like,
drops.
the
Yes.
instant connection was made, and from there on
This was-
out,
it's so
we,
nice to work with somebody that wants to learn.
yeah,
right?
no, 100%.
It's very difficult, like you
100%.
say, if you get those that like just go,
Yeah, just like
what is
the
she
body
not gonna- what
language,
is
the
she gonna
like,
teach me?
yeah,
And I always say, sometimes I sit in a seminar call here for 5 to 8 hours teaching. You know, eventually my
Yeah.
mobile data really does get done. you know?
yes.
But when I always say to the people that's in my class, I say, guys, even if you walk away, you might be in the industry for a year, you might be here 5 years, maybe 10, maybe 20 years. If you walk out of my class and I taught you 2 things, or I refreshed your memory about 4 things, I've done my job.
Mission accomplished. So, like, that's so beautiful hearing it from the education point of view. I think, in terms of what my best part of the hairdressing industry is, like, first of all, hairdressing has saved my life multiple times. I mean, you've known me for a very long time, and it was always the one constant thing in my life being a recovering addict. I went through a lot of like very, very, very dark times, but as soon as I could walk into the salon and I could make someone smile and I could make them look good and feel good on the inside, like something changes, that just gave me life. And I was like, you know what? Life is actually, it's worth living.
May I ask you a
Good.
question
Yeah.
while we're on this topic?
Of course.
So I think also like with you, like you said, it gave you life.
Mm.
But I just want to jump back, if you don't mind me
Yeah.
asking. In your darker times, you
Mm.
know, when you were struggling
Mm-hmm.
and when it was dark. Right?
Yeah,
And
I
it
mean,
a
there
misery,
was no light. There was,
Right?
yeah.
Didn't you struggle? Because I think this is something that hairdressers work with every day as well. Is like I just mentioned, filling your cup. But sometimes we also behind the chair having to take a step back where the client vents to us or talks to us. And it can be draining, you know, sometimes
Oh,
like
yeah.
they take so much.
100%.
Didn't you struggle then with that?
Oh yeah, so like
Because
especially
you're really in
then
a bad space.
already,
you know?
yeah, like I was in a bad space, and then someone would come and tell me, oh no, they've been diagnosed with cancer, or and the things we hear, it's not always great things, and it's not always like spicy gossip. It's sometimes it's very sad. Like I found out my husband was cheating on me, and then like especially during that time, I would take those things home with me because I had no ability to detach from anything my clients were going through. And I mean, I was able to empathize with them like severely, and I would check up on them, but check up on them at like 9 o'clock at night, that's not healthy. Like boundaries are sexy. And I had no boundaries in those times. And also again, like from my side, I had no filter in terms of I would spill the tea to my clients, which is like no. Yeah, because I wasn't able to again separate from where my personal life started and where my professional life.
Don't get me wrong. I do think there's some clients that become friends. You know,
Oh, yeah,
they are
definitely,
your
definitely.
friends after hours. I think then a person must just be careful with who is maybe in the salon. I mean, you talking from a hairdressing perspective that sometimes you just need to put on those brakes. You know, when it comes to, because I think a lot. You know, you consult your client, you go, how's it going with you? And as soon as they ask you, how's it going with you, you will go,
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
this is wrong.
And
this
that's
is wrong,
not
you
what
can't
they
believe
come
this.
to you for.
Exactly. And
No.
although they listen and you think, oh, shit, Kulia was not so nice listening to Uma, they actually, some of them, that relationship isn't supposed to be there.
No,
You're not
100%.
supposed to chat to them about that.
Again, boundaries. Like you need to learn and to assess who to share with, who's it okay to share with, like where's it safe, and where the energy exchange is not a good thing for either
But
party.
we're human beings, right?
No, 100%.
So when you
we're human.
when you speak to somebody, I think the one thing, especially if you're a little bit more introverted person, I think you almost listen as well, not to listen to talk, but I mean you listen so you can pick up something we can relate to. You know, like,
That's how we
oh, shit,
connect.
you like that? Now I can
Yes.
talk about that. You know, I think
Yes,
that is the main
yes.
thing where you almost wait where you can, but it's fine to relate, but not going, oh yes, me and my husband do the same, or me and my husband go through the same thing, or this or this or this. I think again,
You
that
can hear and you can
boundaries-
listen, yes, and you can respond without being like, oh, but this is what's happening in my life. Yes. Yeah, like getting back to the question, hairdressing for me, the best part is like making someone look good, making them feel good. It's not what is the right word? I used to think it's a very vain industry.
Yeah.
And I mean, vanity, we all have it. We all want to look good. But it's so much more than just what you see and just on the outside. I remember having a client that had just finished her chemo as well, and like it was a hard time for her. And I did her hair, and I mean she had about 3 hairs on her head.
Sure.
Yeah, it is, but. And I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Like she said to me afterwards, she was like, you know what? Thank you so much for making me feel like a woman again.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Don't cry,
this is
Julia,
it.
Don't cry.
I was like, this is it. This is it. The human connection. Like that's what it's about. And like making people feel good again. And just giving them that bit of life. So that's my favorite part of the hairdressing industry. Like what a vibe, making people feel pretty every day.
And also I think sometimes they go through things which they don't share with us.
Yeah.
But getting that message or that afterwards giving you a hug and go, you do not know what this meant to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I actually just colored your hair, did a toner and blow dried. But it's to some people it's so much more than just that.
There's this reel going around where the start of the reel is like she's just a hairstylist, and then it goes to all the things she heard, and it's like a client telling her, "Oh, I just got divorced. Oh, I just found out I'm pregnant. Oh, I just found out I've got cancer." Like all of these things, we have to be so many things for so many people, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
I think it's an incredible thing. I think the big thing is this. We want to steer this podcast also in a way going, we don't mind hearing these things. We want to be that for you.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
We want to hear the ear that tells you, just to get the whole like uplifting thing of this.
Yes.
What you just said, you know, the hairdresser is the psychiatrist, the hairdresser is the doctor, you know, the hairdresser is the best friend.
The dating advice expert.
Yes. So I saw this thing where they said, you know, my hairdresser knows when my kids' birthdays are. My hairdresser knows what my husband did last weekend. My hairdresser. But one thing my hairdresser never knows is what side is my parting.
Oh my God. That is so true. And I apologize to my clients all the time. I'm like, I will literally remember everything except your parting.
Right? We suck at that.
Literally the worst. But I mean,
just to make light of the situation.
We have to. Yeah. So I think this is a really good episode to kind of talk about like how we experience our clients. So a question I've got written down here, Tash.
Gosh.
I want to know, what are your pet peeves of clients? Like things that literally just like irk you when a client does something.
Okay, so first, Kulia, you know me very well.
I do.
She's worked with me. And sorry to all my other educators that also work with me. I love you guys so much. Time management.
Ooh, my number one.
Listen, that to me is probably the worst thing that you can do to me. And I mean, it does happen. We also run late. I know we do.
No, it happens. Traffic. Yeah.
But for me, like, especially, let's take a Saturday, for example, right? Saturday you're booked. I mean, you're going to work your little tushy off that day. From 8 to 5, you're booked back to back.
Yes.
It's not always how we want it, but especially Saturday, you're accommodating everybody that can't come in the week.
Yeah.
So if you are 20 minutes late for your appointment, listen, Linda. It literally, that's just
and also without any warning, like 100%. No text like, hey, sorry, I'm running late.
Word? They come in with a coffee cup.
With a fucking
sorry,
I'm
so late.
I'm dead. I'm absolutely dead.
I know you're late for stopping for coffee. So where's mine?
Yes.
Where's mine, bruh?
Yeah.
Where's mine?
I've actually had that before, and then I'm like, you know what? It's fine.
Okay, you've
brought me coffee.
You brought me iced coffee.
It's fine. I forgive you. We're besties again.
Yeah. So time management.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I'm very strict. I always go, put your feet next to each other. Please sit upright.
Can I just explain this to people quickly? So okay, when we're cutting at the back, okay, so when I'm sitting like this, my posture is now perfectly straight. However, when I do that, you see, automatically, don't leaning. Cross your legs. Stop it.
So that's, or you go, let's just look down a little bit. Now they're looking down a little, but then this phone comes out. Then they like,
yeah.
Can you please look up?
Yeah.
And then third.
Mm-hmm.
And they're checking and you're like, I'm not done yet. Can I just ask you just to leave?
Like when you do one curl and they're like, stop it. Stop.
But I would tell them, stop it. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to have a stylist that used to work in the salon. Her name was Mika. She's in Angola now. Lovely human being. She would go, stay in your lane. I'm the hairdresser. Stay in your lane. And I'll never forget that. I love it. I've used it on a client once or twice. It's beautiful.
probably my worst pet peeve.
Yes.
I mean, we could go deep and say, you know, the abrupt lying, but let's not go into there. Pet peeves, I would say those three things. Like, I'm not asking you because I want you to be a Statue of Liberty and stand still and sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah, like I'm not doing this for years.
You're really actually affecting my cut.
Yes.
Like, I can't cut you straight.
Yes,
like that, you know?
Or like, okay, so for me, pet peeves, definitely late. But sometimes being 30 minutes early to your appointment is equally as rude as being 30 minutes
such
late.
Bad anxiety.
Yeah, like
I
please
feel
go
I'm
get
rushing.
a coffee. Don't sit there staring at me like, when is it my turn? Like,
Or,
no.
Or they go,
yeah.
like, yes,
Your
there is still
appointment
30 minutes left.
is
so.
only in 30 minutes. I will see you soon. Please go get a coffee.
Agreed.
Please.
Yeah.
So that, and then when they touch their hair before I'm done, please don't. Absolutely not. Please.
Oh, cool, yeah. I've got one more.
Please. Yes.
You know, when you're styling, and let's say you've now really put your blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, those sections were straight.
Yeah.
You were blow drying your little tushy off, and you like really amped. This is gorgeous. And they get up, and it comes to the payment side of things, and they tie the hair up. After you have just spent like 30 minutes,
Yeah, like I
either
don't
blow
understand.
drying the crap out of that hair to get it straight,
Yeah.
or the glossiest, beautiful curls.
Yes. And then they
And
tie
it
their
goes
hair
up in a pony.
Yeah. Dead. Absolutely dead.
Right.
That doesn't happen to me though, and I'll tell you why. I ask my clients, what are your plans for the rest of the day?
Yeah, so that you know.
And they're like, oh no, I'm just
you
going
manage
home.
the expectations. That's what you do.
100%. I'm like, they think I'm just making like conversation, and I am. However, I want to know, are you going on a date? Are you going home to chill with your dogs? Like, what's the story? Because I'm not about to waste 30 minutes on a blow dry if you're going to go chill, like Netflix and chill. That's not happening. And I mean, fair enough, I could do it. I could charge you for it. Because best believe you're going to pay for that blow dry.
Yes,
But I won't.
No,
Please don't.
no.
The other thing that really irks me is no-shows. Because I've never, like, I understand life happens, and this is also like a really good conversation to have. Like, some salons have implemented things like a deposit, a 50% deposit to secure your booking, so that if you are a no-show, like without any warning, then you lose your deposit. And I think that's extremely fair. Like, how would you feel if you went to work and then your boss just said to you, oh, by the way, I know you're here, but you're not getting paid today?
But also, I think this is such a great topic, and it would be nice to hear back from other hairdressers, is that I think there's a big majority of us that would do the 50% deposit if I'm doing weddings or if I'm doing quite big events.
Yeah.
But like almost, I don't know, I'm not saying all dressers are, we soft-hearted people.
Oh, 100%.
But I think so many hairdressers, they're too scared to do that, because...
Yes, and by nature, I'm a people pleaser, so it's very hard for me to implement things like that.
And go, like being strict, boundaries.
Yeah.
Being strict and going, you know what, it's your first time here, let's do this, or let's put that 50% deposit in.
Yeah.
It's good to hear from other agents. Do they have that implement? For me, it's also how do you secure it? Because do you then ask them, listen here, pop me EFT with your 50% deposit? Do they come and give you, like, how would that actually work? How would you see that working?
So, I mean, my salon personally uses Yoko. So we could easily, and this is why I've brought this up as well. So we've recently, especially with the rain, people don't realize how the weather affects salons. People just won't, people won't show up because they're like, don't feel like it. Yeah. So with new clients specifically, we have decided to implement a 50% deposit. But if it's like a blow dry, it's fine. If it's an hour, it's fine. Like, no deposit needed. However, if it's a 4-hour color correction, please believe I will be asking for a deposit, and I don't think it's unfair because if you're planning on coming to the appointment, then so we send a payment link with Yoko for any like 3-hour, 4-hour, 5-hour appointment. 50%, it's deductible from your full service when you do arrive. Afterwards, you just pay the 50% difference. So that makes it easier. EFT also, like, it's not that hard. It really takes such a short amount of time. It takes 2
also
minutes.
with, like same banks, you do the geo payment quickly. You know, that's
Literally,
also quite quick.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is as well. Look, I think there is some cases when you've got a client. Let's take a jeans cut for instance, right? That does cancel last minute. Sometimes you're like, oh,
Thank God. I can eat lunch.
I can go to the loo. I can do something about it.
Yeah,
I can actually just think.
Yeah.
Or just like,
Yeah, I can just sit and doom scroll on Instagram.
which we all do, right? So I think also it depends. But if it is, like I always say, there's that certain time of the month where you're pulling through, right? Because you now know there's like a week left of bringing money in. So now you're booking, right? So when somebody does cancel a 4 to 5 hour session, that is a big, I mean, if you don't work, you're not making money. That's fair in hairstyling. And also, now you're not pitching. You didn't let me know at 8 o'clock in the morning.
So I couldn't
So I
find
could maybe
someone
fill somebody
to
in
come
there,
in. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not pitching.
Yes.
God, stop being so bloody rude.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
And the thing is, like, a lot of clients will actually understand that. Like, I've had a client that she let me know, she was like, listen, I have to move today. It really is an emergency. And I was like, I'm so sorry, this is your second time. No, it was actually, so she had a good reason also. So, but I said to her, I'm so sorry, this is your second time that like, we'd already rescheduled the appointment. And she's such a sweetheart, like, love her to bits. But like, what's fair for the new client is fair for the old client as well. So I sent her a 50% cancellation fee and she paid it. And she still comes to me. She still does her hair with me. She's a highlight client. She's a really, really good client. But that's where respect comes in. Like, I respect her time. I won't be late. I won't be fucking around during the appointment. I give you my full time and energy, and I give you the best results I possibly can. So you can respect me as well. Be on time. Show up for your appointment. And if you don't, pay your 50% cancellation fee. Otherwise, I lose that amount of money. And also, I didn't have time to get someone else in. So we have a 48-hour cancellation policy generally. So, like, please just let me know at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
But 48 hours ideally, because then I have time to post on Instagram, because that's my social
Your
media,
social media time,
platform of choice. And then I'll post and be like, hey, dear clients, I've got a cancellation. Does anyone want to fill the slot? And then usually it does fill up if it's like on a Saturday. So yeah, just like respecting each other is also something. If you set boundaries, you teach people how to treat you.
Agreed.
Yeah. Tash, what is your favorite conversations to have in the chair? Like, firstly, when I studied, they teach you not to talk about 3 specific things in the chair.
Religion, politics. Is this thing on?
Is this thing on? So they teach us not to talk about religion, politics, and sex. And can I tell you, I talk about all 3 things with my clients.
Oh shit, you do? Really?
No, I actually do. And I think it also depends who the client is.
You need to read the room.
Yeah, read the room. Like, if it's someone and they're like, okay, like, I won't, not sex really, but more relationships, if I'm being honest. Like, someone won't come tell me like a really spicy story of what happened to them and their husband, and when they decided to have
that would be like a taboo conversation to have, you know?
Yeah,
like, that's a bit awkward. Like I said, it's not like hanging out with your best friend and you chat about it.
Yes.
I think behind the chair, and also sometimes, like, you know, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm quite a visual person. So also, like, I don't want to be sitting there going,
you did that with
who? You know?
No. So mostly relationships. I think we get relationships all the time.
Yes.
In terms of politics, I think it's more like, I like asking questions. I like being informed. I have a very non-biased opinion also. And I actually have a client that is in government, and I like knowing what's going on.
I think that's different. You know, it's like, I think using your session and actually uplifting your own intelligence when it comes to subjects that we're not that familiar with.
Yes.
I think that's
you
fine.
can do it in a very non-biased way. That's not like, I think you should vote for this party.
Yeah.
No.
I just don't want that situation where you're talking about it and then this chick next year, she hates this guy.
Yeah.
And the other one also hates this guy, and it becomes like a big argument.
No, 100%. But I think I guess that also comes down to your EQ, your emotional intelligence, like whether you can have a conversation and like kind of keep it as neutral as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm
Kind of
such a
Switzerland.
neutral, yeah,
Kind of
yes,
Switzerland. You know?
100%. And I'm Switzerland in almost everything, which makes it super easy for me to have these conversations. Whereas I don't think a lot of people know how to like
No.
differentiate.
Again,
Yeah.
it's going back, like I said, is finding that something we've got in common with, and you just go, blah, 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 and you just overshare.
Yes.
I think we're prone to do that, you know, especially if they're like, because you're relating. Like, I'm taking now a very silly example, but he slapped the rook at me last night, you know, and you go, I know, like my husband did it last week, you know. And like I say, as an example, guys, I don't have a husband and he's not slapping me. Let's just get that
she's
out.
single.
Yeah, just get that out there, okay? Nobody's slapping me. I'm just saying, like, as soon as you can start relating, that's when you like,
Yeah, then
shit, I know what
good
you're
to go.
talking about.
That's why
Yeah.
most stylists have ADHD. Like we do this thing where we hear something and we just like run with it because
Yeah.
we're like, oh my gosh, I see you, you're like me, let me relate.
Yeah.
This is my story. And then religion as well. So I'm not a very, again, I'm a very neutral person and I love finding out about other religions and like, I wanted to say upskill, that's not the right term. I love cultures and I love different cultures because I love traveling a lot as well. And religion oftentimes ties in with that. So I love hearing about other people's religion.
Yeah, I
so
think
like
if you-
that's why I could do.
Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
interesting, you know.
Yes,
like,
extremely
and like you say, it's
interesting.
not upskilling. I think it's just more getting that knowledge, and it's interesting because I find out things about religions, and I'm like, what? You
Yeah.
guys do that?
Like,
Like
this is a
what?
thing that happens. Yeah.
Right? And it's interesting as a whole. Like, and I think what's nice about it is that you can still respect it.
Yeah.
Do you believe in it? Would you do it? No, not necessarily, but
Yeah.
it's still something that should always be respectful because that is your religion.
100%. Like again, the
Yeah.
thing where you can agree to disagree.
Still have that respect boundaries in place where, yes, I want to learn about your religion. Yes, I want to know about the things you're doing. Do I need to do it? No, but hearing about it and going, shit, I don't know, you guys did that. That is amazing. Or like, oh, that's how you guys work in that way. I think that's where you can have that conversation because there's still a boundary in place or there's still respect being shown.
I respect all religions and I truly believe that if your conversation with your client comes from a place of like non-malicious curiosity, like I just want to know about this,
Tell
like
me
teach
about
me
this.
about this, tell
Yes,
me about
100%.
it.
It's something that's nice to know. You know, it's like
Yes.
going to, I'm taking an example, going to your first ever Indian wedding. Like even
Yeah,
the
like, what a
things-
vibe.
You get the
Yes.
things that they do it
Yes.
so differently. Going to a different cultures' weddings or seeing how they do
100%.
it. It is shit interesting.
100%.
Why don't we do that, you know?
Yeah. One
Like
of my
that.
clients was telling me about the tradition where they walk around the fire 7 times and it's symbolic of being tied to that person for the next 7 lifetimes. And I'm like, this is so cool.
How amazing.
One of the coolest
That's what I
things
say.
ever.
Yeah, so I think also just finding out, I think that's where it becomes a good way of getting to know other cultures and religions. But like you say, make sure that you don't have an opinion about it, you know, unless you're
Yeah.
saying, oh, wow, or tell
Yeah.
me more. But telling
You're
somebody
allowed to-
what to
yeah.
believe and what to do.
Yeah. You're allowed to have an opinion.
Agreed.
But sometimes you can just keep that opinion
Yeah.
to yourself.
I think some people do struggle with that.
Yeah.
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 Like, I did not ask your opinion.
Don't get on Tasha's bad side.
Guys, I'm sweet.
Okay, it's time for some horror stories, Tash. Are you ready?
Goodness.
Are
Okay.
you ready?
I think I am. What horror? Like, just tell me in what aspect.
like horror stories from behind the chair. What is your like worst experience with a client that you've ever had?
Juicy. Okay, I've got the worst, and then I've got something that happened to me, and you know, when like something happens to you, and you're like, just like, did that just happen? Like, I'm so confused. Like, shit, how did that just happen? So
Yes.
if you don't mind, I'm going to tell you guys quickly.
Tell
So
me.
I will never forget. I was on the floor already, and still not a very confident hairdresser, but I know I was still on the floor, and I had. Okay, so I don't want to say this. I struggled cutting kids' hair. Kids' hair. I just said kids' hair. Not the fact that they don't sit still or anything like that. That I've got the world of patience with. I think it's always when they're that certain age and you almost like don't know, do I listen to the child, what she wants, or do I listen to the mom? Do I get a middle ground because the one is telling you something else, the other one's telling you something else? It's exactly the same with matric farewells. You get this chick going, this is exactly what I want, and mom goes, no, she's not. I'm paying for this. So I would never forget. I was booked with a girl, and I had to cut layers, and we washed her hair, and she was sitting in my chair, and I started doing the cut. So the mom is sitting in the chair, quite at the back, because now I'm chatting with a girl. And I see the mom getting up, and I'm seeing her like switching around, being uncomfortable, coming a little bit closer. And she stands right next to me. She goes, that is not how you cut layers. I swear to you. And I think I was so flabbergasted that I turned around and I said to her, I thought she was joking. And I said to her, sorry? It's like, that's not how you cut layers. And I was like, I don't.
Well, excuse me.
So I said to her, so
did she whip out her hairdressing certificate?
And I was like, ma'am, I'm not sure what you mean. She's like, I have seen people cut layers all my life. I have even watched videos how people cut layers. The way you're cutting layers is not the way you cut layers. And I think this was probably my first altercation with a client, where I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Stuff
you can suck my...
I would never forget. I was holding my scissors and my comb, and I just went to her and I took it off and I said to her, well, you know what? Then you cut the fucking hair.
Did you say that to her?
And I walked away, and I was still working.
What a win for the team.
I was still working for somebody. And when you get that nervous feel. Now I'm already pissed off.
That
You already pissed me
pit
off.
of your stomach.
But now I've got this pit in my stomach, I'm going to lose my job. This is the end of you, Tash.
Yeah, that felt great, but I will now be unemployed.
To go for yourself, know. So I'm like, oh, what did I just do? What did I just do? So instead of facing the situation, babe, I ran away. I was just not going back into that salon.
Did you get into your car and left?
Didn't go back. I was like, no, the hell am I facing this? I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to fix it. I'm not going to go in and apologize, although I probably had to because I'm a professional.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, no, I don't know. I actually don't have the tools to deal with this. And I just walked away, and I messaged my boss late, and I said to her, sorry, just couldn't do it. No reply, and I was like, I think I didn't sleep that night.
The silence is worse than just getting,
And the next morning I was just got to work, and I was like, I'm really sorry that I shouldn't have handled it like that. That was completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
She said, you know what, I fixed the situation. And she said, and I get why you did it, but it's not the way we deal with it.
Yes.
So that was probably my worst interaction with a client, but I was so flawed that I was like, I don't know what to do here, actually. I don't have the tools to deal with this.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, there has been so many times where it would be so easy to just lose it. And the hardest thing to do is to just smile and stay calm. Sometimes you don't even have to smile because it's impossible, but just kind of handling the situation as calmly as possible. And I had a client in the salon not too long back, and just an extremely rude client, right? I don't want to give too many details because this is actually quite recently. And eventually it got to a point, so the appointment ran over by an hour and a half because this client was just impossible to please, right? And I'm such a people pleaser, such a client pleaser, and that's why I believe that I'm good at my job. Eventually I said to her, you know what, I think what we're going to do is we're going to end the appointment now. I'm going to charge you for a portion of the appointment that you were happy with. The services that you were happy with, you're going to pay for. The services that you were clearly not happy with, I'm not going to charge you for it. But we're ending this appointment now. And I was so proud of myself afterwards, and because for me, usually I'd be like, I'm sorry, let me fix it.
Yes.
But I stood my ground, and for me, that was a win. Yet I still handled the situation like extremely professionally.
Yeah, you still stayed professional. In my seminars as well, Kulia, what I always say to the stylists that usually attend my seminars, I always go, you were entitled to fire a client. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
meaning in a way that if you have come to a agreement where you know for a fact, whether it's your skill set, whether it's your personality, whether it's whatever it is, if you can't satisfy that client's need, or everything you do they just find fault with, fire them.
Yeah.
Because also you've put so much into your career, you go to these courses, you upskill yourself. And if you get to a point where you know your work is good, you know you're doing a good job, but you just can't satisfy that client, instead of for years trying to, because that's what we do, right? Like, I've got it this time, or this time I'm going to do it different. Fire them.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to do it in an ugly way.
No.
You can sit them down and just say, I just don't think I will be able to make you happy. Like, I have tried, and I just think me and you don't see it the same way.
Yeah.
And I think we should end this relationship.
Yeah. And even sometimes if you feel like it's easier for you to hide behind a message, send a message and be like, I don't think I'm the right stylist for you. However, I can actually refer this, and this person.
Yeah.
And then you refer them to someone that you think would be able to meet their needs, or who has a very strong personality, who could definitely kind of match their energy, if that makes sense. Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I've done that with clients before, where I'm like, you know what, I actually don't think I'm the stylist for you.
And I think,
and that's okay.
It's okay.
But here's a stylist that can help you. Here's a stylist that knows exactly what you want.
I get this even with educators. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm head of education, I get a lot of feedback from a lot of clients. And some clients go, listen here, I'm using your name now again for example. That's nothing against Kolia, but I really prefer how this one actually educates.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And that's more than okay.
She's entitled to opinion.
Yes.
And great. If my other educator can rather satisfy your needs in educating, then let's make sure they go and train you or they go and educate you,
I heard something a few years back, and it's always going to stick with me. So someone told me, offense is only taken, never given.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that, when we speak our mind sometimes, like, you're going to choose whatever statement you just made. It's going to offend me. And I really hope on this podcast it really comes through between me and you to our audience, is that we're not here.
We're not here to offend anyone.
Bashing anybody.
No.
We're just trying to tell the truth,
Yes.
Talk dirty to me, what's happening every day.
Yes.
So it's not like we're bashing any side, whether it's clients or the stylists or educators. It's more of a case, we are telling our truth.
Yeah, and how we experience it.
And we're relating to it. We're not here on this platform to offend anybody. And
and if you choose to be offended, that's on you.
Sorry.
But I think it's one of the most beautiful things, and that's why whenever, like, if someone says something to me, let's take it in the salon. Like, if someone says, no, I really don't like the way you do my hair, like, I can choose to either be offended by that, or I can be like, okay, this is a learning curve. She doesn't like it this way. Maybe next time I can do it this way for her. And it's not going to take one person that says to me, I don't like how you did this, for me to fire them as a client. No.
Not at all.
No. And it doesn't take one appointment. I think in terms of communicating with clients, clients need to feel safe enough to say, I actually don't like it this way. I like it this way. And hairstylists need to be humble enough to be like, okay, I can learn from this. Or if this is a really difficult client, I'm not the stylist for them. That's it.
That's okay.
Yeah, and not be offended, because the only person who ever ends up suffering is the person who chooses to get offended.
Exactly. Part ways and a mutual good understanding. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't always need to be war when you part ways in relationships. It should be like, cool, I don't get you, you don't get me.
Yeah.
Done.
It's all love.
Yeah. All love.
100%. Tash, I want to read you a story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
So
how did you get this story? Just tell our
okay,
people
so
how you got
I
this.
posted, before we actually announced that we were doing
A podcast.
Yeah, Talk Dirty to Me, a podcast. I asked for some anonymous entries for horror stories from stylists and from clients.
I did
Now,
the same. So,
yeah. Now, this is a really, really good one that I I really want to share with you.
oh goodness, don't mention names.
No. I'm not going to. It stays.
It was anonymous.
It
guys.
stays
It was
completely anonymous.
Yeah.
The salon won't be named.
Yeah.
None of it. But this is a really, really good one. Okay, so it says here, when I was an apprentice, a hairstyling and training, at a high. Wait.
Use your words.
Use my words. Okay, it says when I was an apprentice, a hairstylist in training at a high-end salon, we would take the clients through to a separate basin area called, I don't know if I should say this.
Okay.
No, it's going to give it away.
Yeah, just a different
Place. Area. Okay. So it was very tranquil and peaceful at the basin area with spa music playing, and we would wash clients' hair and massage their head, neck, shoulders, and back for an extra 15 to 20 minutes. This salon sounds really nice. I want to go there.
I want to go wash my hair.
I want to go there.
I want to wash my hair there.
Yeah. Okay. I remember this one client that I took through to the basin area, and he had dandruff. Now, I'm not talking about a little bit of flaking.
Shame.
I'm talking tinea capitis. Okay, so if anyone knows what real dandruff is like a fungal infection, and it smells.
Yeah.
It smells really
And you get
bad.
like a wet dandruff, but it's usually crusty.
Yeah. So this hairstylist is amazing. He or she clearly Googled and told us. So tinea capitis is a type of herpes infection, also known as ringworm of the scalp or hair, and it's a cutaneous fungal infection. We're being schooled right now of the scalp. Okay. I was studying hairdressing at the time, so I was very up to date with any type of contraindication. So That meant we literally were not allowed to touch this client. That's what a contraindication is when a client comes in with lice, for example, we're literally not allowed to touch them. Yeah. So we technically had to refer him to a GP. So I went to the hairstylist that I was helping, and I told her, this is what your client has. You need to refer him to a GP. We're technically not allowed to touch him, and we have to sterilize everything. Keep in mind, this is a very high-end salon. She proceeds to tell me, oh no, his hair is always like this. Just give it an extra wash or two and upsell a scalp treatment. I can't afford to send him away. Bruh.
But this is exactly what I'm saying. You must be in the position where you go, not doing that. Not touching that. You can't be that desperate, you know?
Ooh, okay, so it continues. Now, obviously, I was shocked, but there was a hierarchy, and I had to do what stylist said, even though I was being paid 1,300 Rand per month.
Wow.
So I put some gloves on and gave what felt like the longest massage of my entire life. For those who don't know this, any bad hair smell is amplified when it gets wet with warm water.
Like by 12, like 20, 30 times.
Can you
worse,
imagine that
like.
smell? Oh, my word. Now I lost my place. Okay. So I was fully mouth breathing and suppressing gagging the whole entire time. The shampoo helped dilute the smell a bit, but I'll never forget the creamy, sticky texture of his scalp. And to top it off, not only did he have dandruff that smelled like death, when I moved to his shoulders, almost relieved to get away from the infected area, I realized he had back hair that tangled through my fingers and cystic back knee that surely must have been super painful.
That's the worst.
To the touch.
You know what I'm thinking? You see, my mind goes somewhere else. You're wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how that
Like
was pulling that hair on that back?
This is so bad. Okay, so it continues to say, I honestly wanted to light myself on fire afterwards.
Shame,
because
I'm
I
sorry.
felt dirty to my core. I washed my hands to my elbows for 30 minutes after and sprayed alcohol spray everywhere on my clothes.
Shit.
Needless to say, I avoided helping that stylist for about 3 months after that because their payday was more important than hygiene practices. Medications. And I'm afraid I can't remember if I saw them sterilize their equipment afterwards.
You see, that is so it's not even funny anymore. To me, it's now becoming like the practice of actually hygiene in our industry is super high.
And the crazy part, like high-end salons charge a high-end price. And I'm like, this is gross.
Yeah, like also like, can't be that desperate for 400 or 600.
It's a
800
Jane's
bucks,
cut.
you know.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
honestly.
shame. I'm sorry she had to, or he had to go through that, because also hopefully that didn't set up his
Yeah,
feeling about how hairdressing industry is.
100%.
'Cause
Because
that
that
gu-
would have
that
been enough
person-
to like scare me off. I would have been
Right?
like,
You scarred for life.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
you
I'll go
scarred
work in an
for
office.
life.
Yeah.
It's done. It's done. And also, all I'm thinking about, okay, so he has managed now to get through this horrible scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But now you also the like you say, you're not the hierarchy in the salon, so you're just the apprentice. Like now you're seeing beautiful next client coming in, and they're using the same equipment
Yeah.
on the next client
And the clippers.
and the clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hectic. Thanks for
That's
sharing your
bad,
story,
bad.
but ooh,
Thank you.
yeah, that is disgusting.
You have a story also.
I don't think that gets even close to that platform of grossness. To be honest with you,
Oh
like,
yeah, but we have to get back to your second story.
what
yes.
was my second story? Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
but this is not a weird. This was just like I was so flabbergasted. I didn't know what to do. So I get this call. I pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, no, she wants to come for an appointment. Great. But do I have pensioners prices? So to me, that is something that we have to offer. I personally think if you especially if you're in the area where do you have a lot of pensioners or have pensioners days. I know there's salons that cater especially for them, but I do think that if you have got a client base, that you have to color. I think it's very difficult to have different pricing when it comes to pensioners cuts and stuff. But I think cutting and styling you can maybe, but also putting that service out there, everybody then all of a sudden will be pensioners, you know. So I got this call and she's like, no, she's a pensioner. Now I'm like listening to this. I'm like, no problem. When you come in, would you just be able to give me proof that
Yeah,
you,
like bring your ID.
I'm not being funny. Like I just need to know, like, you sound quite young for me at being a pensioner. But anyway,
Yeah.
she makes an appointment. She comes in, and I'm consulting. But you know when somebody's like, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, I go, so Julia, I really like blonde hair, but I don't like having the blue tinge in it. I also don't like my previous hairdresser did the violet tone. I don't like it, but I don't want to see gold, but I don't want to see blue. I want to be blonde, but I also don't want to be golden blonde. I want to be ashy, but it shouldn't be steel. Then now you've already lost me, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. So actually, we
so
don't
like, I
know
don't
what
know
you want.
where you want to be.
Yes.
So I think then usually this is the place where a stylist would go grab the color chart and show them. I think that's the worst thing you can do. I think pictures is a better reference to that, because everybody will just be pointing at the white is white. Meanwhile, they've got like a level 7 hair, so you can't achieve that. So anyway, nevertheless, she's explaining to me things, and I'm like, I'm so confused. I still don't know.
Yeah. I
She's
have
talking
no
about
clue what
depth
you want.
and dimension, and every time I'm like, okay, cool. So we'll have like a dark and light going through. No, it's not what she wants.
Yeah.
So anyway, she goes, but I do actually have something on my laptop to show you. So I'm like,
Thank goodness. A
okay,
photo.
eventually I can go and see.
Yes.
So she proceeds to go get her laptop, and she opens it, and I'm like waiting. So you know when you open a laptop, it's got the screensaver, and you need to put the password in. So the laptop opens and screensaver. I'm like waiting. I'm hovering over her, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
put your book. And she's like, yeah. So what do you think? And I look at the screensaver and I go, so now I like really need to think. What am I going to say next? So the screensaver is a picture of a wolf. Okay, like
No.
it's
No. So she
legit.
didn't. Not. No.
Okay, so it's legit a picture of a freaking wolf. And Cooley, I had to turn around and I said to her, so is it the cut or color you like? I didn't know what to say. Because I was like,
So her
I'm
reference
staring at this
picture
freaking wolf.
was an animal.
Wasn't and this is way before identifying as wolves.
And
or
I was
anything,
just
guys.
about to
Not at
say,
all,
like,
not at
before
all. This was
pronouns
like
were a thing.
Way before that. It was legitimately a black and white wolf, and that was what she's showing me.
Stop.
And
Okay.
I would never, and it just became ridiculous after that. Like at one stage, she was showing us her body that she got surgery on and was pulling her clothes off everybody's. It was such an
It was
odd
just chaotic.
experience in my life.
Yeah.
Like the most weirdest, randomest thing that I've ever. Like I would be working on her and then she'll eavesdrop a conversation on that side of the salon. She would legitimately get out of her chair to go and have a conversation further. And I'll go, ma'am, please just come back. Let me just finish.
Check on drugs.
It was like, I could tell you, like, out of bodily, wordly, random experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that is
ever in my
crazy.
life. And I was just like, I am praying that she's not coming back.
Yeah.
She did eventually follow up to come back, and I was just like, I don't know how to deal with that. I think in situations like that, when you don't know how to deal with it, maybe it's just better not to do it.
Yeah.
But I was so knee deep in it already. You know?
Yeah, you're like balls deep. You
And
can't do
also-
anything.
Exactly. And I was also like, shit, one day this is going to be a really good story.
Yes.
Right?
And I mean, look
That's
at us.
exactly, yeah, this is going to
Yeah.
be a really good story to share.
I love that for you.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Anyway.
I have some more stories here.
Yeah, remind me, I think I've also got maybe one or two. But
Yes. So I've got
share.
some client ones. Do you have some stylist ones?
I do have some stylist
Okay.
ones. Okay.
Share some stylist ones.
So
with
also,
me.
I'm trying to keep this anonymous as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my good stylist friends, I don't want to tell what she's going through, but she's going through something. And if you know her, she's also quite open, bluntly like me as well. You know, would say something. Don't draai geen doekies om me, you know.
Yes. Like no
And
BS.
She's got this client. They're actually not from South Africa. They from a different country. I'm not going to mention it again. I don't want to put it out there. And she hasn't seen them for quite some time. But they're also quite bluntly honest. And as they walked in, he looks at her and he goes, "Why are you looking so different? You look different." So she's like, "What do you mean I look different?" He's like, "No, I don't know. You just look different. Your face is very plumpy." Right?
So it was a man also.
So it was a man.
Not only. Not only
Right? And-
did they talk
and
about.
let's be honest, right? We're all sensitive when we like weighing a little bit, or you go a little bit over. So this is not even that. Now she's already offended, right? She's like, "Well, you know what? If you."
I've got so much happening on the
Okay.
inside right
so
now. I'll
the
continue.
second guy, that's mates, walks in as well, looks at her up and down, and goes, "What are you? You're not gymming anymore, right?" Like, how do you? This is not
Yeah.
hair related, but I mean, at the end of the day, I would be like, stuff you. Like,
Firstly,
yeah.
mind your business.
And
Like,
do you think a fat person can't cut hair? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
she's gonna message you after this, and she's gonna
She's
be like,
gonna go,
"What are you trying to
"Really?
say?"
You
Yeah.
of that? Not at all. But also to me, like, hashtag no filter. Like,
Yeah.
even,
Yeah.
you know how it is. What, like, if somebody says to you, "Yeah, I did pick up," we go, "No." Like, not be, if it's a good friend, I'll go, "Yeah, I can see that, but
Yeah.
it's fine. You'll lose it again."
Also, a client told me this, and I think it's extremely true. I don't think anyone, unless asked, has any right to comment on anyone else's appearance.
No, I don't think it should be a thing.
Specifically weight.
Yeah.
Like me personally, it's always been a very sensitive thing. And again, offense is only taken, never given. But like, read the room.
Yeah.
Don't no. Whether you're telling someone they've lost weight, whether you're telling someone they've picked up weight, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with
shouldn't
you.
be- you shouldn't be.
It's
even
my
saying
avatar.
this.
If I want to feed my
Exactly.
avatar some pizza,
Exactly.
I'll do so.
No, it was hectic. Okay, I know you've got another story.
I've
there
got
for
another
us.
one. So, a 16-year-old girl came in for a cut and a blow dry. Mum said she wasn't taking care of her hair, so we're cutting a bob. Again, with the moms and the daughters.
See, I
Like,
told you.
who
like,
do you
I
listen to?
struggle with that?
Yeah. Oof. The moment I cut her hair, she started screaming and running in the shop like a 5-year-old.
Not the mother, the child.
The child,
right? The
yeah. The 16-year-old was running around like a 5-year-old. After calming her down, the daughter says she is suing me for emotional distress.
No.
Oh my God, she was just 16. But like, can you imagine?
But
I'd
you
be
know-
like,
But you know that's the thing, hey? Like this I'm gonna sue you. It's such a like a thing that they're doing now. Everybody's suing everybody.
yeah, everyone's suing everyone.
Everybody's suing everybody. Guys, please don't get ideas. Yeah, we literally this is a fun podcast, okay?
Yeah. No one's suing no one.
Nobody sues us.
Lawyers are expensive. Okay. I've got a client story for you.
Yeah, please share.
That I think you're going to enjoy. This is actually from one of my clients, and She's become a friend as well.
Okay,
We're going to
so
keep it
is
anonymous
Is
still.
she skinnering about you?
She specifically states this was from another salon
Okay, thank
15
God. I
years
just want
ago.
to say, because now you've
Yes.
got, you ballsy to read your own comment there, or your own story.
No. This is, she specifically states this was from another salon 15 years ago. I had asked for a trim. I had shoulder length hair. And the stylist they gave me was in training. First of all, no. Don't do
also,
that.
They should be aware that they are. And you should be
Yes.
comfortable with going,
Yes.
okay, cool.
And they should
I'll
be
do
charging
it.
less.
100%. Because they need to learn, right?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I had to learn too. I was
course.
dumbfounded when people came to me when I told them this is for my hairdressing
Yeah,
exam. Anyway, okay. She kept cutting it shorter and shorter until I literally had a short old lady haircut. Being 13, I was too nervous to tell her to stop. When my mom asked if I liked it, I completely broke down. Thank God mom was there, but also too late.
Because you know what? It happens when you're studying, right? I would never forget my 90-degree cut. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Like
90-degree cut is like
right?
when you do like
all over the
layers.
hair is 90
Yeah.
degrees.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get, because of body positioning,
Yes.
me, not the person sitting in my chair,
Yeah.
I wasn't obviously standing correctly.
Yes.
Trying to get the one side even to the other side. Thank goodness it was my mother. Sorry, Mom. But
Oh,
like
shame.
she came in with quite long hair and just trying to match that one side to the other side.
Yeah.
I'm talking about pixie, like pixie cut. She ended up because just trying to marry the one side. So also, you are a student, it is still new.
Yeah, shame.
Shame.
Like shame for both of them because also
Yeah.
imagine the trauma that stylist went through, but also
Exactly.
the client. Okay, so the client continues and says her stylist. So when my mom asked if I like it, I completely broke down. Her stylist came to the rescue and gave it a more younger feel. But after that, I never trusted people to cut again until I came to your salon.
Oh,
Shame.
Mercury.
But that's also like 15 years later, she only finds a hairstylist that she trusts.
Do you know people are petrified, hey?
No, but even me.
Yeah,
I used to be petrified.
I have seen clients that it's really like, you know, when they actually, you can see them in the chair getting anxiety. Like, literally,
Yeah,
this
like
is
when they start
trauma
looking
for
and
them.
seeing like, oh, okay, is that how much you're cutting? So I
Yes.
try and make my clients as calm as possible.
Yeah.
I'm like, I show them exactly how much
that's
I'm
taking off.
cutting, and then they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine, or okay, no less, okay, no more.
Yes.
And I'm not a trigger happy stylist. I don't know what it is with stylists, but they honestly like sometimes they're like, okay, no, I need to cut off these dead ends. I'm giving you more value for money by cutting off 5 centimeters instead of the 1 centimeter that you asked me for. No.
But
That's not
why
how
I
it
also
works.
say, I think again, and now I'm jumping again on the education wagon. But I think with that being said, if somebody's got super long hair, like really aged hair, okay, like Coolio's is beautiful youngster still, that's what I'm saying, but her hair is aged. So meaning that she's got long hair, so the ends of her hair is way older than the hair that's on top.
Don't look at
Which
my
means
ends
that
now.
when you've got the ends that's splitting, it will keep on splitting. Even though they say you'll cut every couple of months, and then people go, it doesn't logically make sense to me why I must cut, because hair grows from the scalp. But what you don't understand is that if you don't trim those ends and it starts, you know, shading more, splitting more, it can actually influence your growth, you know, because it splits up. So sometimes
Yes.
taking off those little baby ends won't do shit unless you do
Yeah.
take off more.
I think this is the importance
But
of
this is
also
again education,
educating our
100%.
clients. So this is how I explain it to my clients because you're 100% on the money here. I say to them, you know what happens like when you tear your nail, so it keeps tearing, right? It doesn't stop
100%.
tearing. It's going to keep tearing
You can
and
put
keep
a plaster on there. So
but
putting
it's
some
going to keep
serum there, good.
yeah, it's
but
going to keep tearing, and that's keratin. Hair is keratin, nails keratin. Same thing. Your ends split exactly like that. Once you've got a split end, it keeps splitting, keeps splitting, keeps splitting, keeps splitting. So if you're keeping this healthy, when this grows, you get length.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I always tell my clients, cut your hair every 8 weeks at least a centimeter because your hair technically grows 1.24 centimeters every month. So if every second month you cut a centimeter, you're still getting that
100%.
0.48 centimeters of growth
Yeah.
every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not a myth. If you do cut your hair more
It will,
regularly,
but
it's
that's
gonna
why I
grow.
say, at the end of the day, if it splits so much, the point of growing, eventually
Yeah.
you need to chop off that whole bit.
Look,
I
but we
it's
know
sad.
that. But I mean,
No, agreed.
stylists, like clients, if they want me to cut off half a centimeter, that's what
That's
I
what
cut
you're
off,
gonna
because
do.
that's what they're paying me to do, is to do
100%.
what they want me to do.
Yeah. And you can educate them, and if they're still not keen to that idea or feeling comfortable to do it, then by all means,
Yeah,
you stick by what they're asking.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think this is one of my favorite episodes that we're ever gonna do.
Me too, me too.
And
But
I want more stories
I would
as
love
well.
to. Yes, that's just what I wanted to say. I think we just now bantering a couple of stories here and things that we've heard. But I think it would be such a nice thread if even post your stories or share it with us,
Yes.
especially in our inbox. We
Yeah.
can have a repeat of this with
Yeah, we
nice
could do a
and
little
funnier
section where we do like a little
stories.
gossip.
I
don't know,
like
Gossip
a gossip
Wednesday
column
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And please keep it anonymous. We're not here to bash
no.
on anybody, whether you're a client or whether you're a stylist.
Yeah.
I think it's just fun. We're just
yeah.
doing a fun little episode
No,
on that.
100%. Look, I think what we're going to do is we'll take out the names. We'll
sure.
keep it anonymous. If you want to share it with us, love the tea always. But we're going to keep it as anonymous as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks,
If you made it
guys.
this
Yeah.
far again.
We've
so
been babbling
stoked.
quite a lot, but we love it.
Yeah, we love to yap.
We like to yap. And yeah, spill your tea, guys, and talk dirty to us.
Bye. Okay, cool. Dit was 'n nice een. Dit raak so moeilik want ek het nog so baie wat ek wil sê. Ek het nie gedink ons gaan so baie hê om te sê nie. That's great. Peeps. Well done.